It's the oldest form of flying known to man, a throwback to the pioneering days. And now, in the age of supersonics and jumbo jets, it's come back as a way of flying for fun. It's ballooning. Ever since this first balloon flew 5.5 miles across Paris in 1783, lifted by hot air from blazing straw and wool, man has been following the trail of the free balloon laid by its inventors, the Montgolfier brothers of France. de Rozier, first of the aeronauts. And Blanchard, first man to cross the Channel by balloon. He did it in 1785. The balloon's progress spans peace and war. Even today, balloons captive and free, manned and unmanned, have their practical uses. Here, the hardware of meteorology, the weatherman's detection kit, which seems to include everything bar the kitchen stove, is hoisted into the sky. And back comes the raw material of the weather forecasts for air crews and public alike. Information about winds and rain, temperatures and pressures, the highs and lows of tomorrow's climate. For the paratroops, captive balloons are used in training. 2 of the parachutists' first 8 jumps are made from cabins like this, attached to balloons that are raised 800 feet above the base. They'll make the 6 other training jumps from aircraft, though in the RAF, balloons themselves are classified as aircraft. And one of the things they've learned here is that once a trainee has jumped from a captive balloon, he'll jump from aircraft at much greater heights. For many of the RAF parachute instructors, sport and duty mingle. Off duty, they're balloonists. And here's a place at the very heart of ballooning. Cardington with its RAF station, where around 250,000 rookies got their first taste of RAF life when the station was a reception center, and where tens of thousands of wartime airmen were trained to raise the balloon barrage over Britain to deter low-flying enemy planes. Cardington, too, was the home of Britain's giant airship, the R101, nearly 800 feet long and filled with 5.5 million cubic feet of hydrogen. One day in October 1930, she left her Cardington mooring tower on a flight to India. It was to end in disaster in France at Beauvais, with 47 of those aboard her dead, including the then Air Minister Lord Thomson. The day of the airship is gone, probably forever, but the balloon's more than holding its own, even today. The high cost of hydrogen means that the gas balloon will very likely become a rarity, and few will know the joys of riding in one of the classic balloons like this. The pilot is Wing Commander Turnbull, one of Britain's top experts in the art of riding the sky in a glorified laundry basket tied to a bag of gas. The stuff being dropped over the side is sand ballast, released when the pilot wants to gain height. Given the right winds, the skilled pilot can control his height and position with surprising precision. He's got to know his traffic rules of the air, and he must keep his balloon out of the air lanes crisscrossing the British Isles. Over towns, he must stay higher than 500 feet. Down there is Bedford, a safe 1,500 feet below, enough for the pilot to clear the town without the risk of having to drop ballast onto its citizens. Each flight is logged, heights and positions every 5 minutes, and in a gas balloon, the amount of ballast still left. As the hydrogen cools, so the balloon comes down, and it'll keep on losing height unless more ballast is unloaded or the sun comes out, causing the hydrogen to expand. At bump down, you have to watch out for trees, and it's as well to have a smart recovery crew to tether your balloon before it drags you off. Today's balloons are costly. £2,000 and more ready-made, and £600 to make one yourself. And you don't lightly say, fill her up. A bag full of hydrogen costs £150. The sand ballast is not much of a burden on the budget, but it is cumbersome. Balloon pilots must know their meteorology and navigation and aerostatics, the technique of ballooning. And if they're not millionaires, they'll choose not a hydrogen balloon, but a hot air model. It's a direct descendant of that first balloon that ever flew. Today's balloons, of course, are collapsible, and fresh air is cheap. But the blazing straw and wool has given way to propane burners, fueled by the kind of gas campers use for cooking. This way, an hour's flying only costs a fiver, and is easier for the pilot. He can land or go higher at the turn of a tap. With a 6-foot flame shooting out as if from a giant blow lamp, it's safer to wear headgear. And some say you can tell a hot air balloonist by his singed eyebrows and bald head. The rediscovery of hot air cuts down costs. But for the real aficionados of this cloud-dodging sport, there's nothing quite like ballooning on hydrogen. Only then do you get the ultimate sensation of floating in a totally silent world. Up here, the rule of the road is strict. The hot air balloon has to pass under its hydrogen-filled cousin for safety reasons. Though it's cheaper to run, the hot air balloon needs more maintenance. The burner often causes damage. The nylon won't burn, but it does char and even melt around the edges, and repairs have to be done. Hot air ballooning is growing as a sport all over the world. In Britain, there's a new company operating balloons, and a balloon club with about 100 members. What they're all finding out about this adventurous sport is, there's more to ballooning than just so much hot air.